microphone stand here.
Oh, look at how fresh you look right now.
Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to the Bugs Need Hero podcast, a podcast where an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring ability of insects by creating a bug-themed superhero. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Kelly.
Normally, we would spend an episode creating an insect-inspired superhero or villain, but this time we want to do a very special episode talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that is available on Disney Plus, and I assume maybe somewhere else, but probably not. So I don't know what I'm talking about, actually. Kelly, what's bugging you? We didn't really do that. We didn't really do that intro this time.
What's bugging me?
What's bugging you?
Well, also real quick, so the listeners know, producer Derek is going to edit this today and pop this bad boy out, I guess, tomorrow. So edits are going to be a little iffy. So please excuse us if we go off on tangents. If you've ever wondered what a live show would be with us, this will probably be pretty.
Yeah, you'll hear it just how often he edits out our uhs and long pauses and that sort of stuff.
But what's bugging me? I am now COVID free.
Hooray!
It's like 11 days of awful, and I'm vaccinated, so it was and boosted. It just hit me like a ton of bricks, but now I'm good.
We had a cold last week. It was not COVID. It was just a head cold. We tested several times to make sure. But the only person in the house who didn't get sick was my husband, and he works at a hospital. So he's been boosted like 4-5 times. And I'm like, maybe, and that's what made me kept thinking, like, well, maybe it's COVID. Maybe it's COVID. I need a test, because Cody was the only one who didn't get it, because and I thought, well, he's been boosted so much, maybe, but no, he's just made of hardier stuff than the rest of us.
He's got a good immune system. Being in the hospital has probably given him a pretty fun time immune system.
Maybe. In the pre-COVID world, if you can remember such a time.
I cannot.
Which I barely can, if I'm honest. He got like bronchitis every year.
Oh.
Every year he'd get this horrible, takes him out for a week, lung infection.
Oh, man.
But with masks on, he didn't get it. And then this year, he didn't get that. So maybe he's stronger than all of us now. Maybe his mutation power has finally manifested. He's calling Professor X.
Good for him. Good for Cody.
Yeah, good for him. Yesterday, so I went, listeners, it's Black Friday yesterday. I went to the Goodwill, which does not have Black Friday sales, but I was like, let's go. And we were talking about powers that wouldn't get you an X-Men spot, but would be cool to have. And the one I decided I would want is you can touch an object and know its history. Because if you've ever walked through a Goodwill...
What a good idea, Amanda. What a great power.
If you've ever walked through specifically the framed pictures at a Goodwill, the things people frame and then abandon in a Goodwill are amazing. I mean, we were there. It was like someone's whole thesis, like a thesis for an art class. It was all these like illustrations that were framed and like were clearly about like someone's life. Because it was like cool. A recurring woman and her cat. I was like, why are these at the Goodwill? What does it mean?
Who got rid of those?
Here? Yeah. And there was like framed pictures of words, but the words were just in a different language. I don't know what that language was, but why were these random words framed?
Is it like live, laugh, love in another language?
We looked it up. It was actually like northwest, southeast, whatever. But we only found 3 of them, so I don't know where south was. But like, why? Why were they here? I want to know. That would be, if I could pick a power that didn't get me an X-Man, that's what I want to do.
I don't know what I would pick. Maybe, I don't know. All the powers I can think of would probably be pretty good for X-Men. I can't think of anything super mundane.
Low key though, do you really want to be an X-Man? Like, I'm not sure I really actually want to be one.
I'm not that brave or heroic, to
I
be
don't really
honest.
like fighting. Sometimes I'll watch a show like Survivor and they have like these challenges where like wrestle in the mud for challenges. Whoa, get immunity. And I'm like, I'm good, Jeff Probst. I'm good. I
Oh,
don't really like to be muddy. I
I'm
don't like
pretty
fighting.
physical. I go to the gym almost every day. I like stuff that challenges me physically. I'd wrestle a jerk in some mud. Why not?
I would rather
But
eviscerate him with my words.
but I don't know if I could take a punch. That's the problem. I feel like I would not be
I
good at that.
think the average person underestimates how much a punch to the face
Yeah,
hurts.
I think so too.
I think
But
not
maybe if
enough
you're an
people
X-Man,
know.
it doesn't hurt that much.
Interesting. It's like an implied secondary power that all X-Men are just good at getting punched in the face.
Like everyone with those mutant abilities, maybe punches just don't hurt that
But
much.
it doesn't hurt that much. I mean, Cyclops must be used to it by now. That dude gets punched in
Oh,
the face all the time.
constantly. And
Constantly
Logan.
and just right to knock his glasses off somehow every single time.
Pew.
No, my eyes, my eyes. I feel like we're
He is
straying
kind
into
of
it.
he's kind of the worst X-Men.
He
I'm gonna be
oh,
rude.
he often is the worst. He often is the worst. I had such like a schoolgirl crush on him in the 90s, and I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that.
He
Should not have done that.
uh
It was all the
he,
cables, or all
oh,
the pockets,
yeah.
you know. I
You
just
love a man
loved
with
pockets when I
pockets.
was 10, I guess.
It's because we didn't have pockets
It's true.
as young girls, no pockets.
As as girls in the 90s, pockets were forbidden to us. Verboten.
Verboten. Although I
But
guess we're not
oh,
talking X-Men today though. What are we
no, yeah,
talking?
we're in the right universe,
Yeah,
but we're not in the right section of the universe. So you watched Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special last night.
I
Overall, did
did.
you like it? Did you not like it?
I thought it was very cute.
I thought it was very cute as
It
well.
was very, very cute, and Kevin Bacon did a nice job. You
Kevin
know,
Bacon, he's one of those celebrities I've never really heard anything bad about. I
no hot
this
goss about Kevin Bacon.
no hot goss about Kevin Bacon. I'm sure he's been rude to people in restaurants because I think we've all been rude to people at restaurants at some point or
Yeah.
another. But when you're a celebrity, a celebo, that becomes news. Oh, what's his name? James Corden just got canceled over it. Although I've always got the
Well,
impression that he
I
was
feel like
good.
James Corden is always rude to people in restaurants, and that's very
Exactly.
different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We all have bad moments,
You're
but
having a bad day.
sometimes it comes out as like, oh no, he's always like this. And you're like, oh, that's sad.
I don't think
Sad for
he's
him.
funny, so I don't he doesn't
I
he's
it's
not my guy, I guess. Not my kind
Yeah.
of
I
comedy.
love carpool karaoke, but I think what I love is the concept of carpool karaoke and
Mm.
not necessarily James Corden hosts carpool
It'd be
karaoke.
great if it was anyone else doing
Right.
carpool karaoke.
Right. Like an actual singer, maybe,
Like
like
Lizzo.
no
I
shade
want
to the
I want
Oh my
Lizzo
gosh,
carpool karaoke.
there's a Lizzo episode of carpool karaoke.
I want her
So
to be the host.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Switch it out. Switch it out. But anyway, but Kevin Bacon, very delightful.
Kevin Bacon.
He's been married to. I looked it up last night. Because his wife features on the phone
On
at
the
several
phone.
points in the in the special, but that's his actual wife's voice, and they've been married since like 1988, which
Wow.
in Hollywood years might as well be a
Yeah,
thousand years
that's
they've been married.
impressive.
And she's an
No,
actress too.
is it Kira Sedgwick?
Yeah, correct. You
Kira
knew.
Sedgwick. Is
Yeah.
there's no scandals? No like
Not
infidelity
that
scandals?
I mean, I didn't do like a deep dive on Kevin Bacon. I didn't do 6 degrees of
I mean,
Kevin Bacon
I
last night, but
I hope not. I don't want there to be. I love it when people are together
yeah,
and there's no
yeah.
problems.
Again, in Hollywood years, it feels like forever. I have a theory that two people can't be working in Hollywood and both be successful at the same time and keep their marriage
Oh, it's gotta
because
be hard.
I just can't imagine like long distance all the time. You want to talk about temptation all the time, like the ego it takes to be just the kind of person who wants to be famous has a certain type of ego, and being long distance and famous and I just feels like the perfect storm to
Yeah.
not have your
And
marriage
all the
last.
very attractive people who will throw themselves at you.
Right.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
temptation.
lot of temptation. I would say staying married and staying sober in Hollywood both seem
Yeah.
like impossible tasks. Like, so
Well, our
shout out to Kevin Bacon for being with the same woman all this time,
one of
and for her for sticking by his side.
yeah, one of our heroes of New Jersey, Mr. John Bon Jovi, has
Oh,
been with his wife since 1989. So we love Kevin Bacon. His
yeah.
performance was great. We love that he loves his wife,
We love that
and
he loves it.
we love it.
Love a man who loves his wife. And it's
They
tough out there for a wife guy right now. So
it is. The internet has taught us that it's
the
hard to
internet
be a wife
has
guy.
revealed. But he sings, which is great.
I didn't
I
know
don't
he
know
could
why.
sing.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of him as a singer, but like I guess I think more of him as a dancer because of Footloose.
Footloose.
Footloose. The goose. I don't know what the words are. Then did they remake Footloose a little while ago and it was like not good?
You can't do it. You can't remake
It
those
can't be
movies.
done.
Just
Sometimes
make a
there's
new
lightning in
movie.
a bottle.
Yeah, just make a new movie.
Make a new one. Make
What was that
Footloose
hand
2.
gesture you just made?
That was lightning in a
That
bottle.
lightning in a
Sorry. Sheep, 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 and then I captured it.
This is
Ugh.
what I wish that we were recording video because well we are, but we're not going to show you. But
Yeah.
seeing Amanda's hands come together to form lightning in a bottle.
I mean, a good
Was
30% of my communication is hand based.
Is it? I thought it
Yeah.
was little noises.
Oh, like the ones I just did as I chopped my hands about? Yes, that is correct. I'm an all over communication
You're very
experience.
animated, and I like it.
Yes. And that's why you and I make a good team, Kelly, because you sit still in your chair like a proper girl, like a proper little student of science, and I'm all over the place.
Well, I'm always
So,
fidgeting with something. I have ADHD, so I'm always hand
oh, this is an
fidgeting.
ADHD friendly podcast. I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
all three of us are diagnosed.
ADHD. So I'm always hand fidgeting, but I'm not a big body fidget. I think I've just forced myself not to body fidget.
Oh no. That says
That's
I'm
why I
just
go to the
imagining
gym
young
so
you being
much.
like whipped with a ruler, like stop fidgeting. Some terrible Matilda-esque situation.
That was more stop looking out the window. Pay attention
Uh,
and stop looking out the window. I was a looking out the window kid.
I'm a drawer on the margins kid, which
Mm.
of course makes sense now that I'm an adult who draws. So
I love when my students would draw on their, and I teach college students, but I would always encourage them if you're feeling frustrated or nervous when you're taking an exam or a quiz, doodle in the margins. It'll help calm you down a little bit. And they would draw me all kinds of great little pictures and comic strips, and they said it helped. It helped them relax a
yeah,
little bit. So
I think
yeah,
I mean
I
it
get
always
it.
calms me down. I always and again I'll go back to ADHD. Drawing actually helps me listen better because if my hands are occupied, my ears can be unoccupied.
Hmm.
So, but
Helps the brain focus a little bit.
yeah, just one of those things that more. I hope more teachers understand now than they did when I was a kid. But
I think they do. I think we have
hopefully,
a lot of more accommodations now, which is nice.
I hope so.
Look at our ADHD. We're supposed to be talking about
Yeah,
Guardians
that's what
of
we
the
talk about. So the reason we watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special in particular is because it is based around Mantis, who of course is a buggy-based hero. So she, at least in the MCU, her only power seems to be psycho emotional manipulation of
manipulation.
some kind. Yeah, yeah. In her intro, she's in charge of making sure the ego goes to sleep. She like touches
Mm.
him and he gets to rest that way, and then she can read how you're feeling, and then she can influence how you're feeling in the MCU. I don't know if she has more powers than that in the comics. This is a confession. I'm sorry, listeners. I know a lot about comics, but I don't typically know a lot about Guardians of the Galaxy because I do not like comics that are based in space.
Not a space comic fan,
I
huh?
don't like space. Um,
You've
this
heard it
is a
here first.
strange
Amanda
confession.
is anti-space.
I'm not anti. Like, if you like space, fine. I like the aesthetic of space. Very beautiful, very beautiful. But I don't like to think about how big space is. It freaks me out.
Oh, the infinity of space.
The infinity of space.
It is a little horrifying. I understand.
My husband loves space. He actually kind of thinks it's cool that it was like, what's out there? And I'm like, I don't want to know.
My husband
I
also
don't
loves
need to know.
space. Big space fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my 4-year-old loves planets. He loves to learn about the planets. He loves to sing songs about the planets. He'll tell me things about the planets sometimes. Sometimes they are incorrect, but that's because all my books are from the 90s.
Oh, yeah, you need
uh,
some updated planet books.
yeah, at one point he wanted to be the Earth for Halloween, and I was like, "No, you're not allowed to be the Earth for Halloween. Sorry." He loves planets. I don't like space. I think it's freaky.
I
And
like the giant head they're living in, floating in
yeah,
space.
the nowhere head is cool.
Nowhere head?
I will
That's
grant
fun.
you that. Yeah, it's called nowhere, spelt like the word I know things. Clever
Mm.
play on words there.
Thanks, Marvel.
But
Thank you.
thanks, Marvel. But I don't know a whole lot about Mantis's power set outside this. I
That's
do know that she's one of the very few characters that has jumped universes, as in she was once a DC character and
mhm.
is now a Marvel character. There's a couple characters that have gotten eaten up by DC or Marvel that were on smaller brands, the way that like Captain Marvel, now Shazam, was
Oh,
a
yeah.
smaller comic that DC was like, "Ah," which is complicated. We could get into that whole thing, but but according to my research, Dorothy Ann style, and Derek's research because he's the producer,
Yeah.
Mantis first appeared in the Avengers, and then
In
she appears in
1973, right?
back in 1973,
Yeah.
and then she appears in Marvel during a Justice League run, and she's called Willow there. When she asks where she's come from, she says, this one has come from a place she must not name to reach a place no man must know." And apparently that's the Marvel universe. But now she's back in the MCU. Marvel has firmly claimed her as like, this is our property. You're not allowed to take this, DC.
She's cute. Uh, I like her. I haven't really read. I have not read many Guardians of the Galaxy comics. I like what have I been reading? I just went through the Immortal Hulk, which was really fun. Uh, recommended by Derek, and some Thor. I like Spider Man. Maybe I should read some more Guardians of the Galaxy though. It's been a while. But Mantis. So because we are also a bug podcast, um, I was. She doesn't have any powers that I would associate with a mantis.
You
Um,
don't think that a mantis could touch you and be like, I know all your thoughts and feelings, and also
no,
I can change them. I
I
mean, I do
mean
feel differently when I see a praying mantis, I will say.
you
I
look at
see one
those
and I'm like,
big,
whoa!
beautiful praying mantis eyes, and you think maybe they can do that, but
Yeah.
they just can't.
They have such a uniquely shaped
Head,
head
yeah,
with the like very triangular, with the eyes that kind of bulge out to the like it's such a distinct head shape. I'm
oh yeah,
surprised that they would name a character Mantis who doesn't have that shape more featured on her.
yeah. I
But
don't know why they chose that name for her. And she's got antennae which are fairly feathered.
right on the
And
very tippies, they
the
have
tips,
little
yeah.
light up featheries.
And there are feathery antennaed mantis, mantises of the conehead mantis group. They have feathered antennae, which look really neat. But the whole antennae itself is feathered, not just the tip.
Not just the
Um,
tip.
and they don't glow. They
They
don't glow when the mantises
don't-
are doing things.
in
They
the
seem to glow.
Guardian, was it a Guardians of the Galaxy game she recently featured in? And in that one she seems to be somewhat connected to a multiverse and seems to see many paths to and from her location, and it has driven her slightly mad, at least in that game.
Oh,
But at one point she does fight, and she has these like robot arms that kind of click out, and they are very mantis like.
oh,
Because
that's
I'd say
cool.
the big thing about praying mantis, I mean, they're named after their little pose with their little claw arms. So you can't see me doing it, listeners, but I'm doing
Amanda's
claw
doing the little
arms right
claw
now.
arms.
That
Picture
is their
exactly how
name.
you would make a mantis claw arm, listeners, is what Amanda's
Yes,
doing. That
please,
is
please, if you're listening right now and you're not driving the car, please feel free to make some. It's not.
Mantis
terribly
hand.
dissimilar from Velociraptor arms,
It's
but
pretty
the
close.
wrists are more flexed, and then you chop 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 things, chop 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 chop. Um, but that's what they're named after, is that little almost prayer like pose of their arms, and then and then Mantis doesn't really have that.
No. No,
It's
yeah,
very
she doesn't
kung
have
fu
weird
esque, actually.
arms, which is nice.
So she did have some sort of weaponry that mimicked that shape, at least in this one game.
In
So she
game.
does occasionally have more mantis like features, but her main power set of I feel you, not very mantis like.
No.
I guess the next obvious question is, does she eat the heads of her boyfriends? Which
Uh,
I've heard is not really true of Mantis. That in the wild, in the free and in the wild, the boy Mantis gets out of Dodge before she
I mean,
ever
they try, but
she'll get
she
him
will
still.
eat him if she can. Yeah.
Because
You
yeah,
need that. You need the protein. So when a female insect is producing eggs, you need protein. Like our friends the mosquitoes who need to bite us to
they
get
bite
blood.
us. Yes.
Yeah, or the midges bite, or flies. The praying mantis just eats her partner, and that's where she gets the protein.
It's hard out there for a mantis. Because
It's a tough
I
life
heard
to
a
be a
rumor
male.
once that was observed in captivity, and there's a certain amount of things that animals do when they're kept in captivity that aren't really true of them in the wild, but because of the conditions of captivity, they
Mm.
engage in this behavior. And I heard that eating their partner was one of those things for
No,
mantis.
they'll do it in the wild
Yeah.
too. We see this with spiders. Spider females will eat males. It's not really uncommon for a female insect to attempt to devour a male in order to get the proper amount of protein for egg
Go
production.
Black Widow on them. Nom 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 nom. Yeah.
But
Oh, thank you
I
for being my
don't know about
husband for 3 minutes. Now you're gone.
mantis.
Nom nom.
Good. Nice of you to assume they were married.
Well, you can't be a widow unless you're married. So
Mhm.
I don't know what the social mores
Of
of
spiders.
copulation outside of marriage is for spiders.
I just pictured a little tiny spider wedding ceremony and it was very cute.
The praying mantis is, of course, officiating because,
Yes.
yeah, praying mantis. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Dun, 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 dun.
Mantis herself, to me, has basically zero Mantis features, other than,
Zero
like you
legs.
mentioned, their robot arms.
Right.
And
Which is an add-on to her, not necessarily a staple feature of her.
yeah, it seems like a modern add-on
I
and
will
did
say that
not.
the styling of her jacket in the holiday special was a little bit more
Oh,
buggy
yeah, yeah, it
than
was
I've seen
cute.
it
Look like
previously.
wings almost,
Yeah, it
like
had kind
folded
of
wings.
a oh, I whacked my microphone. It had a little kind of a tapered tailcoat thing going
Mhm.
on that I thought was very buggy, and I thought that was cute. That's a cute little detail to give her. Her characterization was a little bit more yelly than I'm used to.
Yeah, she
She
was
spent
very
a lot of time yelling
loud.
at Drax.
Yeah. She was a little more aggressive than
And
she
to be
has been.
fair, content warning, she was she had imbibed for a good section of the of the 20-minute
Yeah,
special. She
that's
was
true.
drunk for probably 8 minutes of it. So,
Her and Drax both were really, really tossing him down.
yeah, yeah, and I have no idea what her biology is of how fast that will get
Metabolize.
through her system.
Oh, what I thought was kind of weird in the when they're coming to Earth and Drax forgets to cloak the ship, people were
Mhm.
afraid. But haven't
Uh
they seen like
yeah, at that point
superheroes are
aliens are
not
like a
weird
known
and neither
thing.
aliens? Yeah.
Like, they've invaded New York at this point by, like, a good 10 years. Like, when was it the first Avengers movie? 2012?
Yeah.
So and plus they're further in the future than us because they had a time skip. But I would say their fear of aliens is probably based on every time they see aliens, things go down and it's not pleasant.
But we
Like,
have heroes who have weird looking ships like that.
yeah,
Like
that's
the
true.
Avengers have a big ship like that. I just feel like seeing that ship should not have triggered the hysteria. that happened.
Yeah, there was like open sobbing when they
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
the ship.
That was a
I
bit
mean,
much.
I have to assume, like the citizens of Gotham, the citizens of the Marvel Universe are terribly traumatized all the time.
Probably.
Like,
The
horribly
casualties
so.
that have happened.
They, like, try to kinda touch on it in Endgame where they're like, because they have, like, that therapy session with people.
Oh,
They're
right,
like,
right.
"Oh, yeah, all my family and friends got snapped. I'm the only one here." And, like, how traumatizing that would be, they kinda scratch on the surface. I don't I don't think there's a
Not
single
enough.
person in the MCU that's doing well. The mental health status of the MCU must be horrible.
Like, only people with powers are probably feeling kind of okay.
Yeah, but then they get forced to fight as school children by a bald man,
Yeah.
who has, like, beef with his ex. So, like, it's not great for them
Uh,
either.
I guess everyone is struggling in the
The
MCU.
MCU is a struggle bus. You heard it here first.
Uh,
Yeah.
I like Drax. I always like Drax. I think he's funny.
Yeah.
I love
I've read
Dave
some very
Bautista.
interesting, um, like, is Drax on the autistic spectrum, like, think pieces.
Oh,
And I think it's a really interesting take on Drax to make him mimic some of the symptoms of being on spectrum. And I've heard that there's a lot of autistic representation that people are like, yeah, someone on screen who's a hero who kind of thinks and acts like I do
oh, that's nice.
finds other people to be like overwhelming and confusing sometimes, because that's one of his major things with Mantis is she's so empathetic and he's so like, what are the rules? I need you to explain to me why this isn't
Yeah, with the cop
what I
cars.
thought it was. Yeah.
He didn't
He's
understand you can't just
explicitly says,
kill
what
people.
are the rules?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to pair those two up together, although
I
they didn't
hadn't
really.
heard that before, but
Mm,
that's fascinating and makes sense. He
yeah.
does feel, I know plenty of people on the spectrum, and yeah, that kind of
Yeah,
clicks.
yeah. I think it's a really interesting way to diversify the personality types of the MCU, and to place Mantis, whose whole power set is empathy, with Drax, whose
With
whole
that, yeah.
personality is kind of, why are you doing that? So I think it's an interesting team up. Although we didn't see much of that interaction because she spent so much time yelling at
Yeah,
him,
just
which didn't
yelling at him.
feel like the best to me, but oh well.
Yeah, I found that to be really off-putting, the amount of
Yeah, how
yelling
often
he
she
was
was yelling
doing.
at Drax. Like I don't feel like
Not
what
the
she was.
actress's fault at all. Whatever the
No, no,
writing
I think
was
that's a
kind of
James Gunn problem. I
strange.
think James
Yeah.
Gunn likes when little tiny women scream at people.
Oh, he has a preference.
I think that's something he finds funny. And
Hmm.
I'm not gonna try to psychoanalyze that, but I think James
I
Gunn thinks it's funny that
I just
teeny
find it
tiny Mantis
annoying.
yells at big strong Drax.
That's some yelling would have been totally fine, but
Yeah.
the amount
And
of
frankly
yelling was
justified at parts.
too
He
much.
flipped
Yeah.
over that cop car like it was nothing. Like, there's people in there, Drax. Calm down.
I find teenage Groot to be uncomfortable to look at.
Yes, I wanted to talk about. So clearly just put a dude in a suit, right? It's
Yeah,
just a dude in a suit with a helmet on, and he spends the first
I
half of the
wish it was
special.
Vin Diesel in that suit the whole time 'cause
Maybe that's why he was so swole. He was like a thick boy for this,
it's
and
very big. Yeah.
very like not his
Wide.
usual body type. Because normally he's, excuse the pun, a little willowy.
Yeah.
He's tall and tree-like, but this time he was
He's like a
he was
stump.
like, yeah, he was like only a little bit taller than Drax and about his width. He was like, he looked
That's
like a
why I really
professional
hope that was
wrestler.
Vin Diesel. It was just Vin Diesel in
Was
that
Vin
suit.
Diesel in there? Just him going, yeah. And for like the first half of the special, he's far enough away from camera that like the detail doesn't matter. They really only bothered to CGI him in like one shot.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, he's like just kind of in the distance, a dude in a suit.
Hanging
Which,
out.
it's just a holiday special. They don't want to whip out $100,000 worth of CGI, but
Yeah, I mean, they had already done a lot of CGI, I think,
right.
for the
For
special.
Mantis alone, you got to do a
Yeah.
lot of CGI because she has her antenna that kind of move, and then
Move all
she
the
has those
time.
big old eyes that I assume aren't completely contacts. I think there's some enhancement going on
Oh,
there.
really? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be hard to see at a contacts that dark, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. But her eyes are, I think, inhumanly large.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the confusing part about the Groot suit is if they were trying to give him like an in-between step between teenage sullen Groot that you see in Endgame and his full adult, like, I'm 10 foot tall Groot.
Mhm.
Disney has a Groot suit that walks around the parks that is a dude in stilts.
Does it look
And
good? I haven't seen it.
it looks good. I
Yeah,
mean, and
okay.
they use it for the meet and greets. So the meet and greet suits are always a little bit better than other suits
Mm.
because they're going to be wear and tear a little bit more. And people see them up close and people have pictures of them that they share on social media or hang up in their house or whatever. So those
Right.
suits are a little bit nicer. So Jasmine is looking a little bit more put together for the meet and greet Jasmine than Jasmine you'll see only from like a great distance on a stage. You know, that's
Mm.
just the nature of costuming. The best costumes, fun facts, are the parade costumes. Those are the costumes that get the big bling, the good heavy duty
The
sparkle factor are the parade outfits. Because
I've never been to Disney, so I
oh
don't know.
girl,
I know.
can we can we write it off on our taxes? This is for our job. This is for podcasts. We have to go to Disneyland together.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, we just do a podcast from Disneyland. How fun
from
would that be?
Disneyland. We're like sitting by the river. We're just like, and now we're going to talk about all the bugs we saw at Disneyland. Look, here's a water beetle. Here's a water skipper. Here's 1,000 mosquitoes.
Oh, so many flies.
Oh yeah, you got to
Maybe
assume
one day.
there's
One day
there's a
we'll just do
lot of bugs
podcasts
at the
from
Disneyland
weird
parks
places.
because there's a lot of food at the Disneyland parks. I'm sure that they do spray for many kinds of bugs at the Disneyland. Oh, Derek says they treat for mosquitoes, and it is apparently a thing.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense. You're gonna have a lot of guests. You probably want
Yeah.
to treat.
I know that the Disneyland cats are a thing.
There's
Um,
cats.
oh,
Can
yes.
I pet
There's a
them?
whole cast of cats. They have a whole
Ooh.
fleet of cats that they feed and care for, you know, their veterinary needs. But otherwise, I think they don't interact with them much, and they're just in the parks.
Oh, that's fun. I like
Uh,
that.
if you spy a Disneyland cat, it is something of a special moment because they're very good at just chilling out till nighttime. Because at nighttime, again, there's a lot of garbage at Disneyland. This is not this is not a like burn on Disneyland. Where you have food, you will have
Yeah,
things that want
impossible
to
not
eat
to.
that food. Rats abound in Disneyland. You are never more than 10 feet from a rat at Disneyland.
That's
Just
like being
that's
in New York City. It's fine.
you're right. Those are just the
I
facts.
know how that is.
So the Disneyland cats are there to take care of the ironically to take care of the mice and rats at Disneyland. There is a Disneyland cat. There's Rotunda.
Oh,
There she is.
Rotunda. Look at you.
She's not wearing a collar today? Or is it just
No, he's
lost
shaking his
in her
head. No, no
folds?
collar.
She said, "Get out of here, collar."
She's so cute. Speaking of cats, our very own podcast cat, Rotunda, our editor in chief.
Yes, the producer of us all, really. She's the one who keeps us on track. She's like, "Meow, get back to work. Meow."
Oh,
So holiday special, we haven't gone over the plot at all, but the plot basically is Chris Pratt, aka Star-Lord, is sad because things are bad in the MCU, as we've previously discussed, including that his girlfriend no longer knows who he is. Whoops. Timey-wimey. That's the danger of time travel, you know.
and it's Christmas
Sometimes,
time, and he's missing that feeling, that holiday
yeah,
feeling.
he's missing that holiday feeling, and the aliens of nowhere decide that they need to kidnap Kevin Bacon, the hero, and bring him back to Chris Pratt so that he can be happy at Christmas.
Which is cute.
All
It's very,
right,
very
all
cute.
to as like a kind of a buttering up tactic for Mantis, who wants to reveal to Star-Lord that she is his half sister. Which at first I was like, they've known each other a long time. How has this never come up? But if she was snapped for 5 years,
Oh,
then
right.
it hasn't been that long
Yeah.
for her.
And I imagine it's a little nerve-wracking. You don't know how he's gonna
Yeah.
take the news. Maybe it's hard to figure it out. Um, Star-Lord was also snapped during that
Yeah.
time,
So
so
there's 5 years less time to interact between them than we thought we had. So she, and she brings up some good points that she's like, well, I'm not sure he wants to know, because that was pretty traumatic to find out that your dad is like a super space being and that
yeah.
he loved your mom, so he had to kill your mom. Like, that's a little dark. Does he really want to be reminded of that every time he sees me, his half sister? But I was kind of under the assumption that she was his half sister all along.
Yeah?
Like, even if they weren't blood related, which, don't get me started on, like, blood
Oh, you
relation
mean
is the
like
only thing that
like a
counts to be
stepsister?
family. Yeah. I mean, clearly Ego was her guardian of some kind of another,
Yeah.
and she says in that first movie that she's always lived on that planet with Ego. So as far as I'm concerned, Ego was her dad emotionally, even if he wasn't her dad physically.
Right, right. No, that makes sense.
But
Um,
yeah, yeah. But found
yeah, that
family is like the whole Guardians thing. That's like the whole thing. That's the whole
exactly.
thing.
That's their jam. It's nice. It's a
Especially in
really
Guardians 2, which is when Mantis is introduced.
right. I like the theme of found family really works right now, especially
Hmm.
with folks of the LGBTQA plus community. Like a lot of their family, due to issues with their blood family,
Hmm.
are found family now, and that really is a great option to have. You know,
Yeah, with Thanksgiving just passed, I saw many TikToks, reels, whatever your your
whatever you're
video of
looking
choice
at.
is, reminding people that if your blood, quote unquote, family has rejected you in some way or another, that your found family is just as valid. And if
Mhm.
you're still looking for that found family, you'll find it.
Yeah, it's out
If you
there.
need us at Bugs Need Heroes to be your found family, we're your moms
Yeah.
now. We'll
Well,
accept you for
I'll
Thanksgiving.
I'll be your aunt. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay, that's okay. I'll be mom, you be auntie. I will wrap you in my bosomous hug and pinch your cheekies and ask
She
you how
will.
you're doing. I
She
will.
absolutely will.
Hmm. Don't
I
threaten
will
me with a good time.
I will awkwardly pat you on the shoulder if you need me to. And
Right. You'll ask how school's going and
yeah,
listen to all their all their academic woes.
I'll buy you some books and toys,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever you want. Yeah.
Beautiful. I meanwhile am piling your plate full of pie. So
But we're here for you listeners. If you're missing family, yeah, give us a call. We're around.
listen to this podcast and know that the happy holidays of Bugs Need Heroes loves you and you're good and you're accepted,
Yep.
and
Just the way you are.
like
Or
we're
the way you
a,
want to be.
we're a pollinator positive podcast, so we
We-
love all kinds of little buggy dudes. And I would argue that the whole premise of this podcast is giving love to things that are not always loved right away.
yeah, we're all
So
about
if you feel
acceptance
like you're
here.
not loved right away, we love you.
Along with the pollinators. It's you and the
Along with the
pollinators.
pollinators. If you could somehow pollinate something, we will love you all the more.
Oh,
If you get those, what do they have, those like seed packets where they're like wildflowers and you're just supposed to
oh,
like wah, wah, wah,
toss them
throw
out.
them as you go,
Although
then you will be extra loved by
producer
us.
Derek has made an exception for emerald ash borers. We
Yes, of
don't love
course.
you.
Mhm. Okay.
You're not fans.
As long as you're not an invasive species,
Yes.
which I would argue that humans are such an invasive species that we are now naturalized to all conditions.
And here on the East Coast, it's spotted lanternflies. You
Spider
can get
lanternflies.
the heck out of here.
They were
Which
they were
we'll cover next year, I think, on
yeah,
a on an
during
episode.
the boon of next year. I just saw a Twitter thread that was about the spotted lanternflies, and I was like, "They're still going? Are they still going?"
I haven't seen any live ones here in
All
a
right,
few
good,
weeks.
good,
It's
good,
pretty
good.
cold.
It must have just been an old video then.
Yeah. I mean, there might be other places that are warmer. Where I am, it's
Oh,
pretty
yeah, I
chilly.
don't remember where this video took place. It was about people being bad, calling the cops on people who don't deserve to have the cops called on them. But some people feel that the police are their personal um
Oh, like score
lifeline
settlers.
to, yes, yeah. I don't like what they're doing, so I'm gonna call the cops.
Those are
That is
people
not
who need
how it
hobbies.
works. Those
You're
are
not
people
a
who
hobby.
need a reality check on
Yeah.
life in general.
Go find something else to do. Like watching Guardians of the Galaxy
Like
holiday
watching
special.
the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Watch Kevin Bacon be charming on a microphone. I will say the music was very strong in
Yes.
the holiday
It
special.
always
It
is in
started
the
off
Guardians
strong and kept
world.
going.
What did you
Yeah,
think of
Guardians
their
usually has a good soundtrack.
What do you think of their opening song about Christmas?
I liked it. The opening song is Christmas from an alien's perspective, and like
Mhm.
how weird Christmas traditions are if you like take a step back and look at them,
I
which
like
valid,
Santa
fair.
as a pro burglar.
uh yeah, Santa as a burglar, often brought up by small children, like, but why? But why? I liked it. I think it's a strong contender to get put on Christmas lists, and I think it's very difficult to make new holiday songs at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
The
And
ones that hit, because a
if
lot
the
of times it's
listeners
just
want to
covers of other
know,
songs.
the band is called the Wombats.
The Wombats,
If
which
anyone
which
wants to
seems
check
apt.
them
They,
out, yeah,
if you could imagine a band of wombats, what kind of music would they make? I would say that was probably
it
pretty
works.
spot on. But I really liked that opening song. I would play it at a holiday party.
Yeah, it
Had
was
good
fun.
vibes.
It was very
Uh,
fun.
yeah, like I said, it's hard to make a holiday song, a new holiday song that still slaps, because it's
I mean,
hard. There's
I
just so
generally
many.
don't like Christmas music, but I was okay with that. I'm not a Christmas
As
music fan. I know,
as
blasphemy.
kids, we had a CD that was called Jingle Cats, which was Christmas music in the meows of cats. So it'd
Oh
be like
no.
meow 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 meow, but with like real cats. And as a kid, I flippin' loved it. I don't know how my mother put up with it. I remember we would try to play it, and there would be times when mom was like, "No, no more Jingle Cats."
Oh, that
Like I'm
sounds
surprised she
too much
didn't
for
just
me.
snap that CD in half at some points. Listening to it as an adult, all I can hear is cats that are being forced to meow, and it makes me sad. Like if it was all just like inquisitive, hey, hey,
Yeah, where did they get
meows.
all those meows from?
I think a lot of them are people harassing cats is the answer, which is why I can't listen to it now. It's
Please
like
do not
Milo and
harass
Otis. I can't
cats.
watch
Yeah.
that anymore either.
Although some cats are pretty vocal. My cat Finn, if you talk to him, he will meow back.
Mm.
Almost every time. He's very meow heavy, which is adorable. So
My
maybe
previous
they're
cat
a
would
nice
meow
little
in between songs. So if you went like da 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 da, he would meow meow da 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 meow. So like not all. I don't want to make it sound like every single meow on Jingle Cats was a forced meow, but you can kind of tell. Like if you've had cats in your life, you know which cats are meowing because they want to meow, and which cats are meowing
Mm,
because you're like, Stop poking me,"
yeah, because
you
they
know.
need something.
Yeah, stop harassing me. I'm just sitting here. But
Producer Derek is showing us a photo of one of his cats, Camazotz, who just screams. He's a screaming
scram.
boy.
Yeah. Some
Finn
cats
is
are very
actually
vocal.
screaming right now outside the door while I
Oh,
record. I hear him. He's just, "Wah, wah."
mother,
Mother, why don't you
mother,
let me into the room with all the plants?
I want
Because
to
they're
eat the
bad for
plants,
you.
mama.
We just brought all
Let
our plants in for the winter from the balcony,
Yeah. Oh, I see.
and
So
many
now
of them are not cat safe.
the
So
temptation exists.
yeah, he just wants
Yeah,
to come in here
poinsettias. A reminder to the audience
and
at this holiday time: do not let your cats eat poinsettias. Probably don't let your cats eat any plants. If I'm
eh,
super honest, unless you really
lilies
know.
too. Some folks like lilies around the holidays.
Mm.
Lilies are poisonous for cats. Um, Succulents are mostly okay. There's lots of cat okay plants too.
I know there's cat grass. If you've
Um,
got a cat that
Cat
loves to eat,
grass,
just be careful. Just be careful at
African
this holiday
violets,
time when
roses
they
are
bring in
fine.
plants.
But yeah, always check. If you have pets,
Always check.
always check because you
I'm always
don't want your
surprised by
pet to
the
get
lists that
sick.
go around like, don't let your dog eat these things. Because it's things that like I would not think are bad at all. Like I think olives is on that list, and I'm like,
Huh.
oh,
Is it because they're
I'd probably give
brine?
my dog an olive and not ever think about it
Mm.
because olives are tasty.
You know what I recommend not giving your dog? And my dad used to do this all the time. Brussels sprouts. Don't give your dog Brussels sprouts.
Oh no, I've heard that
No.
onions is on
Oh,
the list of like It's fine if they get a couple onions, but like too much onion is really bad. But also,
Just
some of
yeah.
these foods are like, if you're just feed your dog a cup of this, and I'm like, no one's feeding their dog a cup of onions.
Yeah.
Like, chill out. Like, oh well, grapes are carcinogenic, and it's like, how much grape does it take? Because like technically, bananas are radioactive, so don't eat
You
a
just
thousand
gotta
bananas.
be careful.
But
Um,
I just don't know.
I know with the holiday season for Christmas, we visit my in-laws' house near Boston, and we bring our cats with us. And my one year, my sister-in-law was so excited because Darcy was begging for turkey. So she kept giving him little pieces of turkey, and
Uh
she's like, "Look at how cute he is! Look at him eating the turkey!" And then he vomited on her shoe.
Of
So,
course, his
not don't give them
appreciation was
too
shown via
much
vomit.
because they don't know how to
Yeah.
stop. They just go, "Oh, you're just gonna keep
I
giving me
believe producer
turkey?"
Rotunda is a big turkey fan.
Is she?
She goes wild for the turkey.
Me too, Rotunda. Turkey's like one of my favorites.
I don't like turkey. Every
Really?
year my father makes 2 turkeys, and every year I have to say, why did you make 2 turkeys?
Two
There's
turkeys.
only like,
Well, you guys
yeah.
have a pretty big family, right?
I would say compared to the average nuclear family in the United States of 2 parents, 2 children, we do have a big family because we have 4 kids,
And
but
grandchildren then.
and then grandchildren. But only 2 of those children still live nearby enough to come to Thanksgiving unless there's a flight involved, which there was
Mm.
not this year. Uh, and then, so then it was just what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 adults and a literal infant and a 4-year-old who ate 2 bites of croissant and then left the table.
That
So
sounds about right.
2 turkeys was too much. But he took 1 turkey to his parents, so it all worked out in the
Oh,
end.
yeah. I love turkey. I wish my parents had given me leftovers. They did not because my dad loves turkey, but they did give me the turkey carcass, and I made
Mm,
stock yesterday, and it's
turkey stock.
delicious. Oh
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm,
gotta
mhm.
use that bird.
I need to make turkey tortilla soup this
Oh, that's
weekend
good.
because that's usually what we end up doing with the leftover turkey bits. My husband's a big for the next week after Thanksgiving eating turkey sandwich boy.
Oh, me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
he was
What
upset that there wasn't more gravy to flavor savor his sandwiches in.
Here on the East Coast, we have a place called Wawa. Have you heard of Wawa?
I believe a
I took Derek to a Wawa when he was here.
is it a convenience store chain or is that something else?
It's yeah, kind of. It's like what else do we have here? We have Quick Check. Derek, what's the equivalent where you guys are? Do you know?
We don't
Really?
have an equivalent Wawa. A
Oh,
Wawa. We have plaid pantries. We have 7-Elevens.
maybe it's. I guess it's kind of like a 7-Eleven, but way better because
Way better.
you can get sandwiches there, and soft
Oh.
pretzels and coffee. They're really well known for their coffee. But around Thanksgiving, they have a sandwich called the Gobbler, and I love it. It is turkey, stuffing, gravy, and cranberry sauce on a sandwich.
Yeah, that sounds great. My dad got
Fantastic.
out the can of cranberry sauce. I was like, why are you doing that? No one here eats cranberry sauce. You know, Dad. Dads just love traditions. They love to cook 2 turkeys and get out a can of cranberry sauce that no one will eat.
My mom made cranberry sauce and cranberry chutney from scratch, and
What?
they were okay. Yeah,
Cranberry chutney?
chutney. It was okay. Um, my mom's a good cook. It wasn't that. It was just it
You
was
know,
fine. I don't want a
cranberry's
lot of
not
it.
for everyone.
It's sweet. I don't really want sweet with my dinner so much. So,
Fair
mom, if
enough.
you're listening, your chutney was delicious. I just
Yes.
don't want to eat more than that I did. I ate enough.
She ate
She's
the
not
perfect
listening.
amount. Can't even get a mom to listen to a podcast. If you had a podcast, I would listen to it as your Bugs Need Heroes mom.
Yeah, me too. Me too. As your Bugs Needs Heroes aunt, I'm here for your podcast. Well, Amanda, we have the very rare opportunity where we are not speaking from the future or the past.
Yes,
So
true.
what are you doing for Christmas? Because this will
For,
come out tomorrow.
for Christmas, I think we discussed briefly in the next episode that will come out, which is the chocolate Midge episode that I typically go to Zoo Lights, which is our zoo uh, extravaganza. But
Hmm.
I don't think we're doing anything big this year because, like I said, two of my siblings live out of state.
They're not flying in for Christmas?
Well, one cannot fly because she is with child, and that
Hmm.
child is likely to show up at any time.
Oh, wow.
Um, but so the one can't fly because the baby would be born in the sky, and that seems like a logistical nightmare. And the other one lives in Idaho,
Are
so
we
he's.
naming that baby Isabella Tiger Moth?
Uh, uh, I argue that we just refer to her as Isabella Tiger Moth, regardless of what the child's actual name is. We'll just strong arm our siblings into naming the children after bugs. But the other brother lives close enough that he wants to drive here instead of fly.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's so long that he doesn't want to drive. He's kind of stuck in this Venn diagram of no good options.
Well, he's gotta make it work. So you gotta stay for a long enough time where
Right,
driving
exactly.
becomes
It's
not
the
that bad.
old, if I'm going to drive for 16 hours,
Oh
if
my
I
god,
count
it's
to and from, I better
ugh.
be there for longer than 2 days
Yeah, yeah.
because it's not worth it with my not quite 2-year-old in the back. Because 2-year-olds don't travel well. Like even 2-year-olds that travel well don't travel well. That's just the reality of 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
So like
It's
I don't blame them at all that they're like, yeah, we don't really want to put the 2-year-old in
that's
the
a
back of the.
long drive for the
And the only
2-year-old.
thing worse than putting a kid in the back seat for 8 hours would be to try to be in the airport for 8 hours instead. Like, yeah,
That's
no,
tough.
no shade from me, not wanting to travel the 2-year-old.
Yeah,
Plus, it's like snowy and like
we have a
Idaho.
5-hour drive, I think, to Boston. It's they're like right outside of Boston, but
Hmm.
and it's me and my husband, and we take the cats with us. And my in-laws are adorable. They love the cats. They're so pumped when they come and they
That's
wander
so
around
sweet.
the house, and my mother-in-law always buys them toys they don't need. It's
Well, of course, she got spoiled. She got to spoil her grandkitties.
yeah. Even though
Grandkitties are
there are
here.
plenty of grandchildren that aren't.
Grandkitties are they tell less long rambling stories than a
They do.
7-year-old, so sometimes they're superior.
And they don't roll your eyes at you. So
Yeah, they don't tell you like how out of touch you are. Like, ugh. The
um,
other day I called to my son. I said, "Come here. It's time for lunch or whatever." And he goes, "Mom, I'm trying to play my video games." I was like, "You're 4. You don't get to talk to me this way. Come check back in 10 years. Then you can try to speak to me this way." Absolutely not.
yeah, that is mouthy for a
I
4-year-old.
do not need this glimpse into the future, young man. I won't have it. You will lose your Sonic the Hedgehog privileges like that.
Kids are still playing Sonic now? Did they come out
Oh
with
yeah.
new Sonic the
Well,
Hedgehog games?
we have the Steam uh
Me
Sonic
too.
collections of many kinds.
Oh, I mean, I use Steam. I don't
He
have a
likes the
Sonic.
Sonic Mania is the one he prefers, which is kind of I think it started as um a fan made game and then got picked up by the actual producers of Sonic and we're like, "We'll
Mhm.
let you make this game under our umbrella actually." So that's really cool that a fan thing became a real thing. That's the one he likes. I like Sonic 3, which is
Mhm.
where you get to fly as Tails. I remember early in our marriage, I was playing Sonic 3 and I just busted through it. Like I could play all of Sonic 3 in probably about 2 hours start to finish. And my husband was like, how often do you play Sonic?" And I was like, "I haven't played Sonic in 10 years. This is all just muscle
You just
memory
love it,
from the
yeah.
thousands of hours I put in as a kid."
Well, I love a good bug-themed game,
Yeah.
and, there's a bee simulator, which is adorable, and you play a little
Oh,
worker bee.
do you get
Um,
to dance?
there's dancing that happens.
Listeners, I am currently
Amanda's
dancing.
dancing. There's Webbed, which is like a little spider game.
That one I hear is very
Um,
cute that you have to
I know
go.
Derek plays Webbed. Uh,
Yeah, you have to go find your little spider spouse. They've been
yeah.
taken, I believe, by a dragonfly, something like that.
Maybe, yeah, and the Hollow Knights one, and then we've got the
Valor.
new. we've got the new Spider-Man game out, which I have not tried yet. But oh, and recently the Steam sale is going on right now,
Yeah,
and
usually all through Black Friday's weekend.
yeah, so one of the older Spider-Man games is on sale if anyone is looking to
My
get
son
that
does
on
not listen to
Steam
the podcast. He is getting more Sonic the Hedgehog games for
for
Christmas.
Christmas.
He's been playing Mario, what he calls Mario Odd City. Listeners may know that it's actually Mario Odyssey,
I
but
prefer
he calls it
Odyssey.
Odd City. And he has pretty much played that one top to bottom. It is slightly difficult to play Mario when you cannot read.
Oh yeah, you just
But
make the story up as he goes
right.
along.
He plays a lot with his dad, and his dad will
Oh, okay, read
tell
it
him
for
what
him.
he needs to know story wise. But he's 4. He doesn't care what the story is. We've been playing a lot of Lego games. He's
Mm.
slightly too young for the Lego games, but he's
I've been
ready. We've been
playing
playing a lot of
the
Marvel Lego.
Lego Skywalker Saga, which is very
Just
cute.
purchased that one at the Steam sale
Yeah,
yesterday. So
Webbed is also on sale, by the way.
Webb's also on Steam sale. He's right at the age where he wants to play video games, but he still really needs your help to play video games.
Mm.
I think I've expressed on this podcast before, game developers make a kid assistant mode for your games. Just do it. Just do it. Just make your game and then make a second character that can help but not hinder, and they get to do stuff on the screen.
Yeah, because that's
Just
all
do
they
it.
want to do. They just want to
That's
do
all they want to do. All they want to be uh a little dude that can collect the coins. That's all I need from a parent with helper mode. Oh, Bee Simulator is also on sale. Derek is doing real time.
Derek is real time
checking
checking
out the
sales
sales.
for us. If you have a little kid, Bee Simulator is pretty kid friendly.
Okay, great. I'll
Everything
try
is
that.
assisted. It tells you to press these buttons and when to press them, and so I think it's
Perfect. Because
probably
that's what he
good for little
needs. Because
kids.
they'll be like, okay, you've learned how to do this skill now, because I'm expecting you to be an adult who's playing this game, which is fine. Assume that adults are playing your game. But then he doesn't know what to do because they haven't reminded him that he's learned a skill. Like,
Yeah,
you have to use your hat throw technique here, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know
yeah.
what
The
to do. So
Bee
I get a lot of that.
Simulator reminds you that you're
Great.
supposed to do this. I
Perfect.
mean, 4 might be a little young, but I don't know, like
Well, if he's
maybe 8,
playing in his dad's lap,
then it's fine. Yeah,
it's fine.
he'll be all right.
But he's been very into that. We have the Switch Lite, and it's very, very sweet to look at him curled up with his dad playing little Nintendo. He calls it the
Aw.
Bintendo as well, because he can't say Nintendo for some reason. He goes, can I play your Bintendo?
I love the way little kids talk when they can't quite say the right word. It's adorable.
Yeah,
And we've all been there as little
yeah.
kids.
What is spaghetti becomes something else.
Biscotti.
But yes, yeah, exactly. Animals gets reversed sometimes, and I know that there's studies on like why that is, but I haven't read any of them. Like why it is that some of these words consistently get turned into this other word, and like what that means for kids learning English.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read those studies because I don't have kids, so I'm less
They're outside your purview.
less interested. Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough.
The another Steam sale update. The Arkham Batman games are also on sale,
Also, very
which I
good.
have
I
not
love the Arkham
played.
games. Oh,
I have Arkham
so
Asylum and I
good.
haven't played it yet. It's just been
Asylum, I
sitting.
would argue, is the best game, best
Mm,
story, but Arkham City is the most fun to play because you get to, it's more open world. You just get to like be Batman. Woo! Fly through the
oh,
city.
that's fun.
Whereas Arkham Asylum is more of a linear story. Like I go to this place to do that thing, I encounter this person. Then
Mm,
I have the clue I need to go to this place and encounter this person. So like
it's
it's
on
a
rails.
better linear story.
Yeah,
But City, that open world format for Batman really works because you're like, time to go and beat up criminals, but not kill them because I can just abandon their bodies in the snow and that doesn't kill them for some reason.
even though they're probably getting hypothermia and dying in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now would be a good time, of course, to say rest in peace, Kevin Conroy, who does the voice for all the
Oh,
Arkham games.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
recently lost him, and I am upset about it.
He sounded delightful. I read a bunch of articles about him when he passed, and he just seemed to really love being the voice of Batman.
Loved being the Batman.
And he
He
came to it not
last
being a Batman fan.
Yeah, last year he released a like very short comic about his experience of getting the Batman role, because
Hmm.
he has that buttery smooth deep voice that was
Oh yeah.
so perfect for Batman and Bruce Wayne as well, because he's so charismatic. um but he was trying to make it as, like a serious actor, and then
He was
here along comes this.
Shakespearean trained,
I
I think.
believe he was in several Shakespeare
Yeah.
productions. He's got a very Shakespeare voice, if I'm honest. And then coming to Batman and feeling like he really got the Batman character of, I have to hide who I really am.
Mhm.
I have these dual identities. Who do I tell that I'm the Batman? Who do I not tell that I'm the Batman? Those sorts of things. Because,
Well,
and he related it very strongly to his experience of being an openly gay man in the 1990s, trying to make it as an actor.
right,
Which
right.
today we think of Hollywood as
Gay
a very
friendly.
queer space, even though
Yeah.
I think in reality it's probably still not a very queer space. But in the 90s, being out was a big deal in the 90s,
Oh
a
yeah.
big
And
deal.
dangerous, a little bit
And
dangerous.
frankly
You
dangerous. I
know.
mean, still
Yeah.
dangerous
Yeah.
20-30 years later. So he was. Oh, Derek's saying he wasn't out at the time. Well, the point being that
The
having a
secrets. He had
a
secrets.
secret identity,
Like
some
Bruce
part
Wayne.
of you that
Yeah.
you masked to try and do good in the world. And I would say, this might be showing my bias a little bit. Anyone that Mark Hamill hangs out with seems to be like Mark Hamill seems to have good boy sniffing powers. So
Yeah.
he's like, I'll hang out with you. You seem good,
He
because I
only
think
hangs
Mark
out with
Hamill's a
good
good
people.
boy.
Yeah.
So.
I love Mark Hamill. Um he seems like a super nice man.
Yeah. So I know that Kevin and Mark were very close friends because they worked together. Because
Because
the
Kevin I
definitive
mean, Mark
Batman
was the
voice and the
voice of
definitive
Joker.
Joker voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. They spent a lot of time together. They made like 14 games or something where they were across from each other.
Oh, that's crazy.
So yeah. And like Mark keeps trying to retire the Joker voice. He keeps trying to retire from Batman stuff. And then they're like, but what about this one? Well, just one more, Mark Hamill. Just one more. And he's like, okay, one more. Just this one though. Now that Kevin is gone, I think Mark will finally get to
Yeah, to
say,
put the Joker down.
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find a new Joker, a new Batman. Because so far, all the new Jokers, like in the Harley Quinn show, it's a Joker voice that is someone doing their best Mark Hamill as the Joker voice.
That's not
Which, don't
good.
get me wrong, it's great. Like he
No,
does a great impersonation.
do your own voice.
But yeah,
You
but
know.
they're clearly, they couldn't pull Mark into into being their voice, so they pulled someone who sound enough like Mark that it was fine. And sometimes I'll watch Avatar, which I know you haven't watched, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he is the voice of the later game Big Bad. I believe he's introduced at the end of season 1, and it's Mark Hamill doing his villain voice, which only occasionally strays into Joker territories, but every time it does, I'm like, "Ah, there it is,
You can
the
hear
Joker. I can hear it." Sorry to anyone who loves Avatar, who didn't realize that Fire Lord Ozai is voiced by Mark Hamill.
it.
Oh, we will include a link to the comic where Kevin Conroy wrote about his experiences of gaining the Batman voice while it was in the DC Pride anthology book.
Oh, great.
It is
Oh,
for
yeah.
free on the DC comic app. We're
Oh,
plugging all
that's
kinds of
nice.
things today.
Yeah. Plug all the things.
Yeah, you have to cut this little bit right. So he spoke, it's called Finding Batman, and he talks about discrimination he faced with potential collaborators and employees or employers that found out about his homosexuality. Conroy says that he, on multiple occasions, had been removed from consideration for acting jobs due to his sexual orientation.
Ugh, that's
So,
ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah. How could you listen to that voice and not be
And
like,
not
I
want to hire
gotta
him?
use, I gotta use this voice somewhere. One of my favorite Justice League Unlimited, I believe it's Unlimited moments, is when the character Cersei, the sorceress, and Zatanna I believe they've turned Wonder Woman into a pig. I believe Cersei has turned her into a pig. And in order to turn Wonder Woman back into her usual self, they have to like blackmail Batman. They're like, she wants something from Batman, something he can never get back. And what it is he ends up singing in a club, uh,
Oh
revealing
boy.
that he has an excellent singing voice, which is something he can never get back.
That's
And he
that'd be
sings, and
pretty
it's
funny.
beautiful. Kevin Conroy had a beautiful voice.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
Am I
rest in peace, Kevin
blue?
Conroy.
Yeah.
Um,
R.I.P. Kevin Conroy. From one Kevin to another, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
oh right, yeah.
Guardians of the
Rest in
Galaxy
peace.
Holiday
Well, do
Special.
we have any like final thoughts, I guess, on Guardians of the Galaxy?
How many legs would you give Mantis? I think we decided she gets
No,
0
0. No
legs
legs.
for Mantis-like behavior. But I still think she's very cute in the MCU. I think
She's adorable.
she has a great characterization, very different from the other characters, which for me at this point is the big standout. There's so much MCU content that is your character unique enough that I remember them. That seems to be the only thing that matters at this point.
Yeah, and the woman who plays Mantis, I think that's Pom Klementieff, right? Pom Klementieff. Am I wrong? Am I right? Oh, Derek's giving me
Yeah,
the
right,
thumbs
right.
up. I
I
got it.
think that's right.
But yeah, Pom Klementieff does a great job.
She does a
She's
great job.
very fun as Mantis. Yeah.
She has such a unique characterization of how she speaks when she's Mantis that I think is
Mm-hmm.
very, very sweet and endearing. But at no point do I doubt that she's also like could take me out. You know, she
Yeah.
just kill
Absolutely.
me anytime. There was one point where like she's CGI hopping around Kevin Bacon's
Oh
house. I was
yeah.
like, oh no, oh no, oh no, I don't want this. I don't want this at
Mantises
all.
do not hop like that. For the record, that's not
For the
a
record,
yeah.
they can. I believe is it just the boys that fly? Someone flies. Who do the
Uh,
mantises fly?
everyone's got wings.
Everyone's got wings.
So they don't do long flights. They're not. It's more
Yeah, they're more like
like a
chickens.
controlled fall.
We'll eventually do a whole mantis episode where we will talk
Yeah.
more about what a actual mantis hero should look like. And it's
How
not empathy
many
powers.
how many legs would you give the movie as a whole?
Overall, I liked it. I cried at one point, but you know, I gotta say, as a kid, I was the stone you could not squeeze a tear from. As an adult, the right like perfume commercial can get me. And I'm like, and holiday specials. I don't know what it is about holiday specials. Something about the Christmas time mood is just like, okay, it's time to cry. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're just crying about family
Oh,
now. Yeah, it got me. So must be pretty good. I would give it. I give it 4 out of 6 holiday legs, holiday stocking legs.
little stocking
Where
legs.
imagine a bug wearing 6 stockings. Hilarious.
Oh, I love it. I love it. What kind of bug? I just pictured an ant for some reason, like a little ant wearing little
Yeah,
stockings.
I believe there is a Christmas bug, a Christmas beetle, but it is in Australia, I believe, because their Christmas time weather is inverse of ours.
Yes.
So their bugs come out as our bugs go away.
I think I'd also give it a 4 out of 6 Christmas stockinged feet. Yeah, it was cute.
Good. It was cute.
It wasn't too
It was only
long. It
20
was only
minutes.
45 minutes.
Was it 45? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It felt
okay. I
like
think
25 minutes to Amanda.
it cruised by. It just
Yeah.
zipped by for me. I think they were some great little interstitial moments with the other Guardians. If one of the other Guardians is your favorite besides Drax and Mantis, there was some. I won't spoil the moment where one character gives another character a gift that made me laugh out loud quite loudly.
Well, I think people know that we're
Okay, well, if you've watched
spoiling.
it,
So yeah,
spoiler alert. Spoiler
gift
alert.
was
Skip the next 10 seconds if you don't want to know that I don't even know her name now. I just want to call her Amy Pond. It's not her name.
No, not even kind of.
Not even kind of. Nebula gives Rocket Raccoon Bucky's arm, which is a throwback to I believe Infinity War, when Rocket Raccoon's like, I need your arm. And Bucky's like, no, it's my arm. excellent
That
callback.
was
And
cute.
I gotta know if Bucky's just walking around without an arm now.
How did he get Bucky's
How
arm? What
did
is Bucky
how did
doing
she
right
get it?
now? Yeah,
What's
with
going
she
on?
I
Well, I
liked
guess we'll find out in the new Captain America movie they just announced.
I liked Groot's gifts, which were the
Mm.
little dioramas, and then the last one was that guy
Yeah,
holding a diorama of him holding a diorama holding a diorama.
that one was very funny. I thought that
I
was
laughed
very,
at
very
that.
funny. I look on Etsy for some of those recreated here in the next few weeks because it was very good.
Yeah. And I thought the Yondu story was very cute.
Yeah, the Yondu. There's kind of a throwback to the terrible animations of of
Mhm.
holiday specials past,
Which was great.
and they include a
Yeah.
Yondu story in that.
It
Which is, I
reminded
think,
me of the
a nice
Star
way to
Wars
include him.
Christmas special.
I do feel like there's a little bit of retconning going on and making Yondu a good dad because he definitely wasn't Quill's
No.
dad in that first Guardians movie. He was
No.
Quill's captor, and like after Guardians 2, they're trying to like kind of go back and insert that Yondu was always like
'Cause
a loving parent to
they want
him.
to like Yondu really bad.
Yeah, because we like Yondu because
Yeah.
again, sometimes an actor just fills in a role and he's so dang charismatic
It's
that
hard
you
not to
like
like
that
Michael
character.
Rooker.
Yeah, I feel that way about
Yeah.
Tyrion in Game of Thrones.
Mhm.
He is a lot more likable just because Peter Dinklage is playing him,
Yeah,
and you're just like,
absolutely.
you lovable scamp, Peter Dinklage. That like this character who's like on the page a horrible person
Yeah, but you
becomes
can't help
likable
but
because it's Peter
like him.
Dinklage.
Yeah, I would say if for some reason you're listening to this podcast and you haven't watched it yet, watch it. Watch it.
Watch it,
It's fun.
watch it.
It's
It
a
was a
nice
good
little
time.
holiday special.
Uh,
My husband was nervous because, holiday specials are usually horrible, but we both liked
they
it.
are very special episodes, the holiday special, which often is code for uh, just thematically and emotionally way different than the usual
Yeah,
vibe. But no, I think it was a Guardians movie. It had a very James Gunn feel. It was very good.
absolutely.
It was a nice way for me to kick off the holidays movies experience for me.
Exactly. And I guess so we'll say we hope whatever holiday you celebrate this winter season that it's wonderful and you celebrate it with people you want to celebrate it with.
Yeah. So happy holidays to you.
Mhm.
We love you.
We do.
We'll see you next time. Love, love, love. Bugs
Love,
Need
love.
Heroes.
Bye, guys.
Bugs Need Heroes is created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. All character art by Amanda Niday. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out on bugsneedheroes.com for the visual companion to our episodes with the artwork of the bug-related heroes. We also have an Instagram, Twitter, and subreddit under the Bugs Need Heroes name. Thanks for coming by. Oh, the Midge episode is probably going to get an explicit tag because we gave them sensual powers because chocolate is so sensual.